thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Welcome, listeners, to episode 177 of the Massenomics podcast, the lifting podcast about nothing. Your two hosts are back again today, Tommy and Tanner. Tommy, how goes it?
Oh, it's going great.
Good.
Ready to bring that heat today?
Oh, that saucy heat.
Saucy heat. Actually, speaking of saucy heat, right off the bat, wow, Tanner, you really did good with that.
Well, that's all these segues that we have pre-planned here.
Well, this off-the-cuff one actually is working really well. Have you ever watched an episode of Hot Ones in your life?
No, I don't think I know what that is.
It is on YouTube. You've probably noticed there's always memes about it. It's a guy sits there's a ton of episodes of it. I've never watched one until just the other day. It's a guy sits down across from a table with another person, interviews them, and they eat like hot wings, and the wings get progressively hotter while they're talking to them. And so it's like you can just imagine how it would go.
Man versus Food meets Jerry Seinfeld's comedians
Actually,
in cars.
Yeah, a lot like
in
that.
Cars getting coffee.
Yes, and so this the reason it caught my interest, or it's always popping up in my Facebook my YouTube feed, and I just never watch them. But this last week, I think it was like their season 8 or season 9 finale, and they had Stone Cold on. I'm like, I better watch this one, and it was like a 30-minute interview, and the wings. So every one before they go, it shows like the Scoville unit
and the
level on each
know.
one. Yeah, they know, and they're like,
it.
"What are you getting me into here?" He's like, "Come on, just do it." And some of them people have like straight up like breakdowns once it starts going.
Yeah,
and Stone Cold, he actually handles them all really, really well. But it's just really cool to listen to him talk and go on and on about things. And you do. I guess I always forget like how well spoken he actually is on things. And he does have the total showbiz presence.
Stone Cold is always Stone Cold, though.
The way he talks, it's like that is a very Texas way of doing everything. There's no doubt about that.
They don't call him the Texas Rattlesnake for no
They
reason.
do not. He has earned that name. But
I don't think he likes to be called Stone Cold in those settings, though. I think
really?
I think he won't
is
like
it Steve Austin.
Steve Austin, yeah. I actually don't know how it goes as far as. I don't think he can introduce himself as Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Technically, does he not own that name?
I don't think he does.
That one surprised me.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Vince McMahon is a very.
I also might not know what I'm talking about whatsoever, but I think I've heard him say that before.
I wouldn't be surprised if the WWE has some type of rights to that name.
Yeah.
They did do a lot in building that up, but
it's funny how that all ties into something that we can't even disclose at this point, but. You and I know a secret right now that a lot of people would like to know but can't.
We got a secret. We always got a secret. But if you have not watched any episodes of Hot Ones, I think for our listeners especially, that's probably a pretty good one to start on.
Anything Stone Cold's good for
It
me.
is, yep. But he does handle his heat pretty well. But yeah, still check it out. It was good. It was good.
Oh, I have a quick question. I hadn't thought about it. Do you know about Succession at all? Have you heard of it?
I don't think so.
It's an HBO series.
Oh, no. I did see the preview. I think it was on the front of. I don't know what show I was watching the other day, but it was with the older. Yeah. Was it like he's a Wall Street guy or something, or an investor?
They own a really big company that does a lot of things. In that, they're in New York City, but mainly they're like a media company. They own several TV stations and.
When you say media company, did you feel like they were kind of like Massenomics, sort of? Like
they're like slightly above us.
Okay,
but like a big, it's this the old man is in charge, and he's old. He's probably 75, and he has these 4 children and it's all this battle over owning the company and all, and a lot of it though is just cool about how rich. Like it's like you're looking into the lives of the extremely rich.
Yeah, and this is all scripted, right?
It's
not based on any real company or anything. Okay.
No, but you can just draw parallels to everything.
Yeah, it's like people have seen things like this go down or things like this have gone down.
But it's like looking into the life of the ultra rich. I don't mean like a sports star rich, but like
they literally can do anything they want. I mean, probably most crimes too and get away with it.
That's all part of the show. Yeah. Good show though.
All right. Interesting.
HBO always.
I mean, they just popping out the bangers over there
do.
nonstop.
They do.
Yeah, for sure. Tanner, we had something go down this past week in the town we live in here, and that is the county fair. And this year the county fair was a little different for us because
There was no strongman showdown.
there was no strongman showdown. How many times do you roughly guesstimate people asked you about the strongman showdown?
The week of the fair here and that week before, I said probably at least 100 between messages on Facebook and running into people throughout the community. It was a constant barrage of me having to explain
Yep.
what was going on with there not being a strongman showdown.
I would say for me, the week or two leading up to it, it was probably 10 to 20.
Yeah.
And then I was at the fair on Friday night. The strongman showdown had previously always been on a Saturday. Friday night, I had probably 15 drunk people. What time's the thing tomorrow, man? It's like, dude, we're not doing. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, let's just not even like.
Yeah.
It just didn't work out this year.
Yeah.
Like that's all you say. But so so there was not that this year, but. I still had to go check it out, explore, see what was going on.
I wonder if I know where you're going. If it's not where you're going, because there was a thing there that people told me about.
Oh, this probably isn't
Okay,
it.
that's
This,
probably not it.
This is just one of my observations. This is one of my
yeah,
observations
yeah.
strolling around. So, the fair, I can say that most years my experience, and I think my experience isn't unique to me. It consisted of drinking heavily on a night or two, participating in the strongman, kind of just hanging out, taking it
Yeah.
out, eating, go eat a bunch of food. Kind of your typical fair experience for any people that live in the Midwest would associate with a fair.
Right.
But this year, I went on Sunday. I had to leave town, so I didn't get to do the whole thing. But I came back on Sunday. I was like, you know what? I could go for some fair food. So the wife and I headed out. Hit up the whole fair. Did all the eating. Hit the hot spots, get the
Yep.
lemonade, do that whole thing. And
How expensive was the lemonade?
I think it was.
It's
was
like
it?
$5, isn't it?
I
or
wanted to
something like
say
that?
6 or 7,
Yeah, I
and then
think
the
it's
refill
$7.
was 4. I think.
Yeah,
I
it's
can't
really
remember.
good.
Yeah, I can't remember. It was something like that. It's just like you just know, like going into that, you're not like trying to like be.
Yeah.
You just know, okay, I'm like
It's those-
basically just assume it's going to be $10 a
Yeah.
booth.
It's those lift short prices.
It is those lift short prices, absolutely. So we did that, and then there's also an expo building where they have a lot of. It's like a trade show kind of.
Yeah.
There's everyone has their 10 by 10 booth,
Yeah.
and there's rows and rows because we're in the Midwest. Most things are agricultural focused in some way.
Yeah, and then there'll be randomly a guy selling a set of pans that's out there, like
Yes.
with
So
the
okay,
with
yeah,
the
and so that's
mouthpiece
kind
on.
of where I'm starting to go with this. Is
Yeah.
I had never ever gone into that building to see
yeah.
what are the wares they're peddling here, and
some funny things
like what
in
is
there.
this market I'm going to be walking into?
There's
and
a lot of snake oil stuff in there.
Yes. So I was going to say it kind of felt like a Fitness's Finest segment came to life. And where it really hit me. So I walked down the first aisle and, all right, there's like a seed company, agricultural. There's an
Yeah,
agricultural
stuff that really
seed company.
fits well in there.
A se-
That's real legitimate
Some of the
businesses.
actual like equipment, manufacturer,
Yeah.
seller.
People that build grain beds.
Yep.
you
So
know,
that whole thing
yeah.
would make sense. And then there's a few kind of, all right, your local politicians have
Yeah,
their
there'll
little
be like
booth.
the
and-
highway patrolman will have a
Yep,
booth.
some of that.
yeah.
And then there was a few, I think they were chiropractors. They weren't local because there's not that many chiropractors in town. I go to recognize the name.
Yeah.
But kind of like chiropractors, but I couldn't actually tell if they were or not. And so the first thing I saw is I come around the corner and there was this guy, I think he was a chiropractor. I don't know what it actually was. And there was a lady, if I had to guess, she was at least 70. She was probably right around 70. And she was definitely overweight, no doubt
Yeah.
about it. And I see him having her put her arms out. And he's like, okay, now get on one leg, and I'm going to try and force you down.
It's like a power
well,
balance bracelet thing.
So I'm wondering, where is this going?
Yeah.
And because like she's 70 and overweight, and you want her to be on one leg, like that already is asking
Yeah.
a lot. Like it's obvious to see. Everyone would be like, well, it's probably not the best position for her to
Yeah.
be in. And he's like, and then I see it. All right, put this bracelet on. And I'm like, okay. And it was so awesome because
Yeah.
he's like, all right, let's get you back on one leg. And she couldn't even get on one leg. And he goes, I know getting started sometimes is the hardest part. And I kind of was like trying to walk by, but also
But
pay
also
attention to
wanna
be like,
see
I
the-
want to see this sales presentation just crash and burn and be like, yeah, you got man. Like,
Yeah.
but so I watched that. Don't even walk down because I'm kind of, watching this whole thing out of the corner of my eye. Finally, I'm past that. And I look ahead. And what is it? Straight from Fitness's Finest, vibrating platforms. And, this has been around a long time.
Yep.
But Also, two old ladies, I would guess probably around 60. And they are on these platforms just vibrating away, on the hand, like they're holding on for their life. Like it's just going to like end them.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, God, these really do exist still. It is crazy. And then we kept walking and I saw some, some crystal things.
Yeah.
Just
There's like supplement stuff, maybe not supplements that are marketed to what we usually think
not
of.
fitness
but,
supplements like, these are going to boost your memory, vitality, all of that stuff. Like kind of like traits and characteristics that are really hard to
There's
quantify in any way.
A lot of creams and oils.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. Anything topical you could ever think of exists in some fashion. And then I thought, God,
it is a fitness.
These people, they got to be selling this stuff or they wouldn't be driving to these things.
And they're there every year. Like it's always like that in there.
So they must be just making the circuit, selling these goods from who knows where and how old they are and how safe they are. But
it's funny how the people really are like a lot of them they're wearing like a headset and like they're talking to a little speaker or something like that. I think some of them just wear a headset for the look. I don't really know.
I think it's that infomercial look, with the ShamWow, Vince from the ShamWow. He always had the headset on. It's like, dude, you're on a set. Why do you have a freaking headset on? What's going on here, man?
What about Billy Mays Hayes?
Billy Mays,
Rip.
Gone too soon.
Yeah, that's our rest in peace segment this week is Billy Mays. We don't know if you know, but he died.
Was Billy Mays and Harambe? Was that both the same year? I feel like I saw a lot of memes that year.
Be.
About how, God, what was that, 2015 or 14?
Probably.
I always remember the recap was like, we lost a lot of good ones this year. It was like Harambe, Billy Mays, and whoever else was lost that year. But
would you like to be, a person that your life, like when you die, it's like a giant joke to everyone? like not more than for a day will people be like.
But it's also... See, he was really good at what he did. There's no doubt about it. And that's why even today we're still talking about him because he was good and he knew how to freaking be that salesman for that stuff. I think it's fun. I think in his situation, like when we're joking about it, I'm not like saying it to like rag on the guy. Like it's like, no, that guy actually had a presence and something to be remembered by. You can't say that for a lot of people that died 5 years ago.
The Seinfeld episode is The Wiz. You might not have ever seen it before.
No, I have not.
The guy, like they think they recognize him from somewhere, and he was on the commercial where he's like, "I'm the Wiz, doot doot doot," and he's wearing like a crown, and it's talking about all these low prices.
Oh, really?
Like car sit, and it's a good Seinfeld episode.
Did you ever, like as a kid, watch infomercials at all?
Yeah, I like to watch the ones about knives.
Oh,
like
I was gonna say
this one is $4.40 stainless steel.
Ryan and I, we would watch the freaking Miracle Blade.
Yeah,
the Miracle Blade on repeat. Like, what are they gonna cut? Like this, we're talking like second and third grade probably.
It's tough to beat a good knife infomercial. Infomercials.
That we could watch that one all day, and I remember multiple times trying so hard to talk our parents into getting them, and they're like, "Call in the next 60 minutes and get this free extra rock and chop." And we're like, "Mom, the rock and chop is 60 minutes." And my dad's like, "They don't know." We're like, "Yes, they do, Dad. Like this is a big deal." And so we never got him to call in and get that extra rock and chop. But I do remember at one point we were in a store and we saw in an as seen in TV section, like the Miracle Blades were there. And I mean, we're talking, this is probably 15 years ago. I'm like, oh, it's the Miracle Blades. And they actually bought them. And I could be wrong, but I believe if I went to my parents' house right now, they would still have a few of those Miracle Blades. I mean, they're not really sharp at this point, but they would be there.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Billy Mays, that's always goes down in the classics. And
yes.
Do you remember growing up, I always, you'd have some sleepovers with your friends, probably be 7th or 8th grade, Comedy Central after midnight, that would just turn into 8 hours of Girls Gone Wild commercials. And now that's insane that's a thing. Like,
so were those VHSs that
they were selling
DVDs, I suppose,
they were selling VHS tapes of
that
Girls
you would buy.
Yeah, of Girls Gone Wild tapes.
That was obviously well before the internet has become what it is now.
Oh yeah, and you could almost be like, well, that's what Instagram is now, like
Instagram's more graphic.
It is because when they girls would lift up their shirt and it would just be huge like Girls Gone Wild thing over, and it's like, Instagram is way more graphic than that now.
That's true. I forgot about that. Girls Gone Wild existed. That is funny too. That do you think still exists as a?
I don't know how. Because I think the guy was getting in a lot of legal trouble. I'm pretty sure. Which you just can't
You
go
mean by
run.
putting all these naked girls.
Yeah,
on
yeah,
VHS
exactly, and probably
that
having
don't
no
want-
waivers
yeah,
for any of them.
Yeah.
There is a podcast that I thought this was really funny. They're talking about Girls Gone Wild, and the guy's like, "Oh, I can't hear a steel calypso drum without getting a boner," because I was like, ding, 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 and like it'd go, and like you would just hear that, and it's like, yep, that's the Girls Gone Wild soundtrack there.
Without getting a boner.
When that steel calypso drum comes out, like you know something's about to go down.
So true.
So I'm sure there's some people out there that can relate to what we're saying.
If you do remember, like you'd almost have to be of a certain age though, right?
I would
like,
think
if you were under what, if you were
know,
very much under 30,
I was gonna say I'm 30, and I feel like if you're even a few years younger than me, there's a good chance. I mean, because VHS tapes weren't. I kind of wanted to see if I can find the sound of that, just in case people don't know what we're talking about here.
Every time I think of that steel calypso drum, that's just how they started too.
Okay, come on, YouTube. YouTube has to have
The things we get to remember because of having a
reminiscing.
podcast.
Yep.
Yeah, I want to know if that's still. It's probably a website, like a porn website.
Oh,
at the
Girls
very
Gone Wild
least.
theme song.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys can hear this, but
yeah.
I mean, that is festive though.
Yeah,
Like,
that is.
I feel like
There's 30 to 40-year-old men out there listening right now getting boners.
I gotta pull over the car here. This is. I gotta turn this down at work. This is getting a little too.
And warning, not safe for work.
Yeah.
Calypso
the
drum,
theme
not
song.
safe for work.
Okay. The theme song has 65,000 views on it, and like the description, the hard to find Girls Gone Wild theme song, and first comment right here. 5 years ago, I'd wake up when I'd hear this at night, leaving the TV on Comedy Central. Warning, this video contains adult content not suitable for children.
They almost like flaunted that warning, like because
it
as a
was
child, it was like,
Yeah.
say
Okay,
what?
you have my
Yeah,
attention. Yeah.
yeah.
I like this one. Where is it? Oh, volume down, blankets up. When you wake up at 5 a.m. to go to high school and turn your TV on. This is such an ironically innocent vibe created from the steel drums.
It is. We need to have a meme of some sort of that incorporates the Girls Gone Wild thing.
Yeah.
There's something there. Just don't know what it is yet. That's related to lifting.
Wow. Good times.
That
So
was.
I love this. Makes me feel happy. Those comments alone are
Yes.
totally worth it there.
So our county fair is a fitness's finest come to life, though.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying
Yeah.
to get at here. Is I walked through the halls of fitness's finest.
Yes.
Tanner, where was I at? Where are the notes here for this dang show? Of course, I close out the show notes, but keep the theme song up.
Something that you and I have both been up to since the last time we recorded. Was it since last? Yeah, so in between now and the last time we recorded, is we have been picking up a bunch of equipment for the gym.
We have, we both have.
Yeah,
actually.
we both have.
Not just you. I even got in on the action here.
Yes, on this last Saturday, I went on a 13.5-hour
Just
excursion.
a very modest
Yeah.
13.5-hour trip.
Went to Minneapolis and then some other northern parts of Minnesota and was digging up lifting equipment. I went to Minneapolis and I met with Big Brad Neitzel. What's his Instagram handle? Kind of
fat, kind of strong.
kind of fat, kind of strong on Instagram. He's competing at the Arnold in Barcelona here.
Yep. And what's that, a month away?
It's sometime in the beginning of September, and the roster for that. I'm getting sidetracked here, but I was, once I got there to get the equipment from him that he was storing for him. We were talking about the Arnold, and the roster for that gets better and better all the time.
Is it still?
God, if I
pumping
can
up?
remember Martins, Shaw, Mateus.
Was Pritchett there?
I think he is. Yes, he is too.
Yep.
Mikhail Shivlyakov,
Really?
Rano Heinla.
Wow.
So there's 6 guys
Yeah,
that are all
there's
like
some big names there.
6 of the strongest 10 guys in the world, you know?
That'd be really cool to compete with those guys.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, that's the big dogs for sure.
Yeah. So he was training that they actually so from him I picked up a hammer strength ISO row machine.
And he was just holding on to it.
Yeah,
for you, right?
I'd found it through someone else, and he picked it up for me because he's in the cities, and he was hanging on to it. So he was doing a training session at someone else's garage gym, and there's about 10 strongmen that were doing like an event stay there. So I butted in on that for a little bit and got the equipment, and he was doing like a big deadlift. I think he did an 805 for a double or something.
Yeah, I saw it on Instagram.
Shortly after I left.
Was that the one that was on Instagram?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that one was. But the real reason I went is wanted to give him a lift pint glass, and I wanted to hand deliver it.
Well, yeah, you got to have that personal
Right,
touch.
right.
Anyone can throw one in the mail. But.
So that's if you order a lift pint glass, I will drive out to deliver it to you as long as you're within about a 15-hour drive.
And you have equipment that we need to pick up from them, right?
That would be
Those are
the
the
more
only
important
two
stipulations.
Yep, that's it.
So I picked that up from him, and then I drove into a little bit more northern Minnesota, and I picked up Cybex 45-degree plate-loaded leg press.
And that thing, like all leg presses are, is pretty beastie.
It is pretty beastie. It was our gym is in basement downstairs, so it had to go down the stairs, and that's always less than enjoyable experience for heavy stuff. But we did get it down there. It's just another thing that I'm like, well, I don't want to take that back up someday.
This will be down here forever now.
Yes, exactly.
And that was, I haven't used a leg press in, if I had to guess, 6 years.
Yeah, because we've had the gym for about 4, and we haven't had a leg press.
I didn't use one at the gym before. Like,
Right.
it was like, well, I'm trying to learn how to squat, and the leg press isn't helping me in that. And I was like, I got to try this out. And it is really weird feeling using one again.
Yeah, I used it too this week, and I liked it.
It is. You forget how much of a pump you can get through the whole quad area.
Yes.
Like if you never take a full lockout break and you kind of always just keep steady. Like I think Stan Efferding talks about it a lot, how he'd put
Constant
bands on just to,
tension.
keeping the constant tension to stop knee pain. And you can feel that once you start hitting
You're
rep
like,
12
whoa.
of any weight, it doesn't matter how much weight's on.
What's all this
once
blood
you start
that
hitting
my
rep
leg's
12, it's
doing?
like, what's going on here? I've not felt this in forever.
Yeah, it's tough to get that feeling squatting. Even belt squatting, it's tough for that.
It can. It just belt squat hits it a little different.
Yeah.
I think it almost hits it more like way down on the quad on the bottom. Where this seemed to be getting it basically from
Your
my
thigh.
knee, almost up to my groin, that whole hunk of meat there,
Yep. And then did you also try the new hammer strength ISO row?
And I did try the hammer strength.
That's
ISO
a
row.
really sweet piece of equipment.
It's anything hammer strength, it's solid, no
Yep.
doubt about that. But yeah, it is really nice.
So we did have to rearrange the gym a little bit. Actually, quite a bit, really, to the one room
lap
of the gym.
pull down got moved again.
Yeah. And so what that means is that Coop's Garage Gym Reviews tour of our gym
no
is now
longer
obsolete.
valid. Yeah, wow.
But note on that by the time you're listening to this, that video will be available.
Is it
on
gonna be
Garage,
ready by then?
Yeah, on Garage Gym Reviews.
Did you say this is one of the most
YouTube
awaited
channel.
videos of the fitness industry for
It is.
2019?
Yes, that's exactly right. I think it'll actually be available tomorrow, is what I was
really?
told.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I'm excited for this thing.
Me too.
Yeah, we've been waiting a few weeks now, so
Yeah, it's probably been a month since he's been here.
probably close to that.
But
yeah.
so that Garage Gym tour is now inaccurate because of the
It
addition of these
is.
equipment.
Well,
I kind of want him to come back and be like, "Hey, we have this stuff now."
yep, we'll have to talk someone else into sponsoring a trip for him to come back through.
That's
you
true.
know?
We'll get a hold of those guys from Fargo again and be like, "Could you have him come again?"
Like we have something we have to discuss with
yeah.
him, so you're gonna need to get him up here again.
Yes. But that one, I did go get both those things in one day, and I was on the road. I left at 5 a.m. and I got home at about 6:30 p.m. It's pretty brutal.
Yeah, that's a lot of time, especially when you're driving basically
Yes.
that entire
Yeah.
time. That is a lot of time.
Yeah, it's like 10 and a half hours of driving, basically.
It's kind of like going to the Arnold a little bit.
Yeah, not as bad. I mean, actually going to the Arnold wasn't bad. It's like the coming home from it where you're like,
yeah.
ugh.
End it now.
Yeah, we gotta we count all this money.
Yeah. God,
All the sweet lift short
I
cash.
mean, we had the van was the Suburban was packed. We sold all of this apparel, so we thought we had room, but then we put so much just cash in it that all of a sudden we didn't have room anymore. We didn't plan on bringing just stacks and boxes of cash back with us.
Bill, like 20s were like fluttering out the cracks in the
God,
doors.
did we rob a bank or go to the Arnold? That is what it was like, you know.
That is true.
Like, is that the cops chasing us? I can't even tell.
With the guy that I picked up the leg press from, he's in Elbow Lake, Minnesota. His name's Steven, and he has a home gym set up that is ridiculous.
Yeah, because he kind of buys and sells equipment. Doesn't he
does, but I think he hoards a lot of it for himself. I'm not sure how much of it he sells. Like
Which you can see how that trap would easily happen,
yes,
right?
He has like 3 or 4 storage units that are chock full of stuff that I know he has intentions to sell. And then at his garage, which is about a 2-stall garage, 1 door, but about a 2-stall garage, you literally have to climb over
Stuff.
This is like, he says this is his garage, his gym that he currently uses.
Oh, really?
And I should show you a picture of it. I took a few pictures. I mean, you have to crawl over and around and duck and stuff to get through to use these different pieces of equipment. He has like every plate loaded machine imaginable. He has tons of old York plates and Marcy plates and all these cool plates. And then he said we didn't go in, but his basement is also jam-packed. Like, to me, it's almost not a usable gym because it's like we walked in and I had to like crawl over this Beast Metals belt squat to like get to where he was at. And then
that's a collection for sure. I'd struggle a little bit. I need a bit of just space around me, you know?
Yes. Oh, there was no space. You know how like our Massenomics gym 2.0 was? There wasn't much space in there. It was not even comparable to like it was on a whole. There was you couldn't see the floor anywhere.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, it's
there's no space there's nowhere there's enough room that you could physically bend down and like touch your toes.
Oh, really?
No. He probably had in that garage over $50,000 worth of machines. There's like all these machines that are all these like cool hack squats and all these different hammer strength machines.
That'd be cool just to
he has
see
like
that myself.
like a couple hammer strength tibia machines, which
I'm not sure I even know what that is.
Like, you know, a calf raise would be pushing your toe down. A tibia machine is
really, they made a machine for that.
Yeah, it's not very big.
But is it like
it's a hammer strength
but
machine.
do you sit in it like you sit in the calf raise one?
It's more like it's like just a thing that sits on the ground that you could like
you just go up to it.
Yeah.
So is it weighted though? Like, is it plate loaded?
Yes, it has little plates. I assume the biggest plate you could put on is a 25 because it's not that far off the ground. Yeah. I mean, he has like every machine known to man. I kind of wanted to buy it from him even. I was
just
like,
to be like, we have this.
Yeah,
look at this thing. Yeah. Now you know you're at a real gym.
Yes, we have a plate loaded hammer strength tibia machine.
That actually sounds like something that we would make up and like put out there.
Yes.
Wow, they beat us to it.
Yes,
and they even rubbed in our face by making it.
Actually going
Those
through
bastards.
So that was my experience. And what was your equipment experience?
I had to head down south to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and picked up. You had purchased a Rogue Ohio Power Bar.
Yep.
What's it? Black Cerakote.
Yep. 45-pound variety.
45-pound variety. We had the 20-kilo IPF approved version.
Yep.
But we had to add in the old quiver of barbells, add in the Black Cerakote.
Yeah.
I like to think of it as like a bag that you can just throw over your shoulder and just barbells you can pull out.
Yeah, which one for this application?
This will do just fine. Yeah.
If you could have the strength.
I just like to think of it that is possible. But I picked it up and it was really cool. Like the guy's name was Jason and
he's a judge.
ADFP. Got that order right?
Alphabets.
ADP.
It's all alphabet soup to me.
The letters all start to. But
there's A's
he's an
and
actual
B's
judge
and
for that. And I pull up and he was in his garage gym lifting and he had he had kind of been moving to some rep fitness equipment and he had said that in the past he'd had an Elite FTS rack, he'd had a Rogue rack. The rep fitness one was the 3x3 steel. And I'd never seen one in person. It seemed like the real deal. It seemed really, really nice. The finish on it all seemed good. So So I was impressed. And then he also had a Rogue Echo bike, and I've never been around that product, or really, I guess what's a comparable product? Does like Concept have a bike or not?
Well, Schwinn Airdyne would be one of them.
Yeah, but
and
like
then the Assault.
Yeah,
Assault bike.
is that the brand?
I
Assault?
think it. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't. Yeah, I think it is.
And those are definitely like the two you hear of.
Yeah.
Probably the more, especially before the Echo bike came along. But
Yeah.
that was a nice piece of equipment too. I was actually really impressed by that.
Someone's told me before. They've said it's like if someone took a Rogue rack and like disassembled it and made a bike out of it.
Yeah,
That's
it
how
was.
heavy duty
It was, and
yeah.
I was like, because it's been so long since I stepped on an exercise bike, but usually it seems like there's at least like an inch or two of like play where you push the pedal and then like that gear or belt or whatever it is catches, and then it kind of all catches up and goes. And this was like you could tell the tolerances were just like machined to perfect. Like the whole thing was perfect.
Right.
And so that thing, it was cool. I could see how like having one of those would be like, all right, I don't really like cardio, but it just feels so nice using this thing that I guess I have to.
Right.
But no, they were his wife there was too, or his wife was there too, and they were really cool people. And so we made the transaction on the barbell, and
I just saw the bar here tonight for the first time.
You just saw it, yeah.
Looks really nice. It's
yeah.
like
You do not realize. You know, we have multiple Texas Power bars that have the black shaft, but the bare sleeve. I don't know what you would call the sleeve. Just
yeah, they're not bare steel, but they're like nickel plated or something.
Yeah,
like
but
that.
it's you know, it's not colored.
Yeah,
at all.
no, right.
And so to like see a barbell that is completely black,
yeah,
it's kind of like, whoa, this is like this does look different. Like this looks pretty cool.
And it's used obviously, but in really good condition.
Yeah, and it was in great condition. Also, he was like, I wiped the whole thing down, I oiled it for you and everything.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine a lot of people go through that trouble when they're selling equipment. So.
Something used out of a well taken care of garage gym can be really nice.
Oh,
and I'd be willing to bet the way that this will look after being in our gym for a month will be a little bit different.
Oh, it'll show up one day and people are like, ooh, new and shiny. All right, let's fill this sucker in with chalk.
Let me grab the chalk and
like,
just rub it
let me
into
see how
the
much
knurling.
chalk she holds over here. Like, oh, is that a white finish on that bar? I cannot tell.
Now it's white Cerakote. Yeah.
So yeah, we both got to pick up some equipment and meet some cool people, do some chatting, socializing on the way. So
yeah, you can never have too much gym equipment either.
you cannot, and that was the thing is. I pulled up, and even in my head, I thought, I'll just run out, grab the barbell quick. But then it's like, we're talking equipment now over here. Like, we got to see what's going on. And
you can't get two people together that both appreciate
especially
gym
once you start to
equipment or
know, like,
powerlifting and stuff.
especially
It's
once
like,
you start to know what the things are.
Yeah.
And, understanding, what is a big deal. And
yeah,
it's not like, there's a pile of bars over there, and I don't know what that is.
Do you know what what's the Echo bike? Do you know what that costs? I had to look it up after you said that. What's your guess?
2,000?
$750.
Oh, it is $750.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
what's their big that pull down thing that you see in like CrossFit gyms? What
That's
is
a
that
ski erg, isn't it? That's a Concept 2 ski erg thing.
Oh, okay. See, I thought Rogue had one like that.
Maybe
I'm
they
probably
do, too.
mixing them around though.
Okay.
What's a Concept 2 rower cost?
That's like $800 to $1,000.
Oh, it is.
bucks,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
I was
have one
thinking
of
that
those,
was
yeah.
$1,500.
Yeah.
That's why I thought that. I'm like, it's a bike. It's probably got to cost more.
But I think the Assault bike was like, because I looked after you said, and I think Assault was like $1,000, but then this Rogue Echo was like $750.
To me, that seems pretty fair for
for what it is.
My 10 seconds of riding
Right.
it.
I
And then the
would
fact that
like
it's
to
Rogue
have one
2,
of
the
those,
fact that it's
yeah.
Rogue 2, I just assumed that it'd be even more than that. But,
Right.
I guess for how rock solid it seems,
Yeah.
$750 seems. I could understand that.
Yeah.
I guess. Well, get it on the list.
There is a list.
I know a guy. He has one. Maybe we could buy a used one from him.
But maybe you'll get tired of it like he did this nice Rogue power bar.
Let us take that off your
Yeah.
hands. You don't
Yeah.
want that old thing. Yeah. There was. Do you have anything else to add to the equipment thing, Tanner?
That's about it.
Other than the fact that you probably don't want to do another equipment road trip again for
It was
at least a week.
Yeah, it was a relief to get that out of the way. It's been hanging over my head that knowing I have to make that trip at some point in time to go get that stuff. And now that I have it, I'm relieved and want to not buy anything from the cities again for a while. But I know the next time something pops up that I'm like, oh, man, I need that.
It makes you realize, like, people that live in First of all, people that live in like heavily populated areas like do not have a right to complain about this like ever, like hunting
Right.
equipment down. Like your
Right.
resources are so much deeper than ours when it comes
Yeah.
to this. Like you
Yeah.
had to drive. What'd you drive? Probably 600-700 miles, if not more,
Probably 600.
just to make the loop
Yeah.
to pick up like
Yeah.
2 things.
Yeah, right.
You know, I was 400 miles round trip. I mean, I didn't go down just to get that barbell. It worked
Yeah.
out that I could get it, but
And from a dollars and cents, it's still just it makes sense because like that hammer strength machine that I bought and the leg press both are like less than half the price of what they would cost new.
yeah,
So you're talking thousands of dollars.
in savings.
Yeah.
And some people don't know this, but if you buy something new, the minute you own it, it's used now. So
That's right. Yes. And then it's used market price.
yep. So you gotta cut out the middleman on that,
Yes.
or you actually gotta add the middman on that.
That's
so that,
true.
So that you can get in there.
Yes, that is right.
The one time you get the middleman.
Yes. Yeah.
One thing lifting related, since this is kind of a lifting podcast,
Kind of.
the WPO is going to be on ESPN3.
That's right.
Which is kind of surprising. When I first ran across that, I had to do like a double take. Like, is this a real thing, or is it like, catch dodgeball on ESPN,
Right.
the Ocho? Like, is this actually a thing? But according to, like, you can go on their Facebook post. It looks like Monday, really? Did I read that right? Monday, I might have wrote that down wrong, but October 28th, it looks like they are going to have some WPO meet. And is it like a special one? I don't know.
No. So Michael Fahey is the director, producer of West Side versus the World, is
Yep.
like one of the main guys behind this.
When you say behind this, you're saying of
this.
getting it broadcasted or the meet?
Well, it's not just a meet, because that's what I asked him. I said, "What's the format going to be?" My exact question was, "What's the format going to be like? Is it one big special, or will it be multiple meets making up like a season in quotation marks?" And he said, "This is Michael's quote was, they didn't call me to do it once, LOL. So it's not just like one show."
It's not like, okay.
He said, and then he said, "There's a reason the WPO is back at the Arnold." And so I asked if filming has already gone on, and he said, "I've been filming a WPO doc, and ESPN producers were at the WPO at the Arnold last year. So they've been looking at this for a while, and like it's going to be okay, so this is I'll just read the one other thing he said here, cuz I asked, like, is there, because I still don't completely understand what the format is. That's what I was trying to get at with him, is what's the format of the show?
Yeah.
Like, is it like,
Well, is it like, here's a live stream with better
right,
cameras
right,
and
right.
have fun?
Yeah, I still don't understand that exactly. And he's just, the other thing that he said, we've got some awesome matchups, a ton of 1,100 plus squatters, a few women who hold raw all-time world records, some amazing, throws out some names there, and then he says Hoff chasing the unknown, Crystal Tate chasing the legend of Becca Swanson, and then he goes, and he's got a few more tricks coming, is what he said. So I still don't exactly understand the format. But from what I took of it, it's going to be multiple. It's not just that one day.
Like you're going to almost get like a season or
Right.
episodes
Then that's
here.
what I wonder, if it's like, if it's following, or if it's more like a documentary, like what you said.
Or is
if
it just like, is it going to be World's Strongest Man, where like, all
Right.
right, here's it's going to be these 5 weight classes. Next week we'll just show these 5 weight classes. We filmed them all in one day, but it's going to take us.
So I still don't know the answer to that. I'd have to talk to him we'd have to talk to him on the phone to understand, really, because it's hard over messaging to figure out what the hell's going on. But I'm for sure interested. I don't have ESPN3.
Yeah.
How do you watch?
ESPN3. I think you can download the app for ESPN3.
Okay. Is that like a?
I think that one's
okay.
free. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'll be doing it then, because I want to see what it is.
Yeah, I'm
what
not
it's
even
about.
sure if like most cable packages even have ESPN3 in them. I think it's usually like just download the app, because you
Gotcha.
can get
That's
like.
that's what ESPN3 is then.
I think so, yeah, because that's where you catch a lot of like weird college games, whether it's
Yeah.
like D2 or
Yeah.
something that it's not usually on like the normal networks.
So what are your thoughts on
I think anything to like get it some real
Yeah.
exposure. Like, I don't know if they have like a legit camera crew there and they're gonna do replays. Like, maybe that doesn't look good for the WPO in some situations. Maybe.
Well, yeah, and I guess to me it's interesting that if you're gonna, I mean, I know the WPO is what had made it like into that ESPN stream before, back many years ago. You know,
Well, because they kind of had clips of that on
Right.
West Side versus the World. Didn't
Right,
they?
right. So I guess I understand it from that point that it's bringing that back to it. But to me, and this is biased because it's the, you know, the part of the niche that we're involved in. Like, I'm just surprised that if you're going to put powerlifting on ESPN3,
That it's that and not like a USAPL national meet
right,
or
or IPF Worlds or,
Yeah, or something like that.
Big Dogs or,
Yeah.
you know.
I still get why companies like a company like ESPN would stay away from certain meets just with kind of the drug thing around it, you know. I can see how it's like, oh,
Yeah, but
also World's Strongest Man does it too.
well,
it's
yeah,
like, oh.
but also like the WPO, I don't know, like, you know, if they must not be too concerned about that because
Well, no,
it, like,
and that's what I was gonna say
Yeah.
is like I can understand why it's like, oh yeah, if they said we're only gonna show a USAPL Nationals,
Yeah.
I'd be like, yeah, I get why they're doing that,
Right.
But I mean, they obviously just they're cool with it, which I think is fine.
And I think probably part of it is the connection with Michael Fahey.
It's
I think
gotta
it's
be.
probably why this is going to be because it's what he, you know, obviously what he's kind of into, and he's the one doing it, and with the apparent connections there. So that's probably as much of anything as why this is what's going to be on ESPN, I would think.
Yeah, my biggest thing, I think, two things with it. I think you're just going to see a way better production value.
Yeah.
I would hope at least that
Yeah.
they don't have some like intern team working on it, and it's like,
Right.
oh, okay, boy,
Yeah,
that was the
yeah.
shoestring budget. Like,
Yeah.
so one, I hope we get some actual production value, and then two, I hope they come up with either a format or whether it's editing or just something where it's like really entertaining to watch, and
Yeah.
you know exactly weights and the situation of what's going on.
What
like,
any records involved, you know.
yeah, like, and if anyone has the budget and the know-how and the means to do that, it is ESPN.
Yes.
You know, like your whole job is to communicate sports on TV in a way that is entertaining to keep
Right.
people interested.
Right.
So hopefully they can do that. Yeah, whether there's announcers or it's just they're just showing clips and then there's a narrator guy that comes in. I don't know. I just hope that it's entertaining.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess at this point we just have to wait and see what it's going to be because everything right now is just kind of speculation.
Yeah, well, October 28th.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
Right around the corner, actually.
It's getting close.
Yeah, yeah.
Not too far away. Okay, Tanner. We were talking about Girls Gone Wild and the calypso drums and
Yes.
that Caribbean lifestyle. and-
Yeah, you've had something on the list here that I wasn't familiar with.
well, yeah, we were talking about all those things, and I thought, God, you know what would be refreshing? A nice cold pina colada. But unfortunately, I don't have one of those. But I do have. This is Tommy's sack segment here. I do
pulling stuff out
have
of Tommy's sack.
for the first time ever. This would be the Zeus pre-workout from our good friend Perseus Black.
It's Perseus.
It's Perseus. It's Perseus. Perseus was nice enough to drop this in the mail. I just got it, so I haven't had the chance to try it out yet. But
Yeah, it's still sealed.
it's still sealed. That's how you know it's good. But Perseus, he set some world records, or he set some all-time federation records.
Yeah,
using
some
this, so,
USPA records.
so you know it's got to be good.
Well, I guess the thing is you get really, really, really strong and like make it to like near the top of the list of 275ers, and you get your own pre-workout.
I think that's how it
That's
works.
how they
yeah.
award you.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna keep working, try and put on like 50 pounds of just pure muscle mass. See if I can get to the top of my game and see if I can get that supplement. Supplement to my name.
Maybe there is something we can do about that.
If only there was. If only there was a way.
You never know. Look, you never know what could pump out of the old Massenomics brain trust
You
here.
never know. But in the meantime,
Yeah.
I got Zeus pre-workout to hold me over. So
Yeah.
thank you, Perseus. That's much appreciated.
And what flavor did you say it is?
Pina colada.
Bring me two. I need one for each hand. Jimmy Buffett.
Real American treasure there.
A
right?
real hit at corporate office parties.
Just get that Margaritaville blender going, little Jimmy Buffett, and everything's gonna be all right.
We did have a best Instagram/YouTube comment of the week.
Oh, did we?
This isn't the best one ever, but it still fit the
Fit the bill?
Yeah, there were some other ones this week that were even better, but sometimes I I try to block them out of my mind, out of the annoyance that they are, and then I don't think about it until
It's like
too
actually
late.
giving this attention would be letting them win.
Yes. But this week's best Instagram/YouTube comment of the week, and the post that this was on was the meme where it says gym owners, and he says, "What is it?
What was it? I got this new bar.
Please use it responsibly."
Yeah.
And then it's members : and then the video of the West Side Barbell guy just.
Which I've never seen anything like that before, so it was really funny just to watch that, and then also think of just like some shithead being like, "Oh, fuck this bar!" Like,
the guy is doing some exercise where it's hooked up to bands and stuff like that.
Obviously.
But to me, in my head, I picture what you said, where it's just a guy just like,
Yeah.
I hate this fucking gym owner. Can suck it. Like, I'm just gonna ram this against steel here constantly, repeatedly,
as hard and aggressively
it's
as
like
I can.
fast as he can.
Yeah.
That's what makes it so funny, is just like how
Just over the top it seems.
Yeah. Okay, but so the comment on there, and obviously this was a joke, and I think obviously we're smart enough to understand this was a guy that was doing this for a real reason. We just took the video and made it funny because I think it was funny. But the guy says, "Unfortunate that they don't understand the mechanics behind this, but what can you do?" Shrug. And when I read that, I was like, how are you interpreting that we don't know the mechanics behind this? And what a weird way to phrase like your distaste at this meme.
Yeah, and also like the idea that you should never make fun of an exercise for being funny looking.
And because we make fun of it for being hilarious, how can you assume that we don't understand the mechanics behind it? Like the post has nothing to do with us like a misclaim at how we view the mechanics of this lift. It's
and really
it's
the
like
whole
I
thing,
understand the fucking mechanics
and
behind
at
it.
no
He's
point ever
pressing it.
Yeah, and at no point did it ever actually say. It was never like a video of like, look how dumb these people are.
look at this stupid
It was actually
workout.
framed as, hey, Jim, I'm a gym owner, and here's a bar. Treat it nice. And like, what could happen if someone's like, just be good to it?
Yeah.
You know?
Unfortunate that they don't understand the mechanics behind this.
Yeah.
I'd never even responded to that, but my thought was, unfortunate that you don't understand what the fuck we're going for.
Don't
here.
understand the mechanics of how an Instagram account works with memes.
Yes.
Yep. That's how it be sometimes, Tanner.
It do be like that sometimes.
Well, I'm glad we got that cleared up there.
Yeah. Sometimes we just have to clear the air on best Instagram.
There is some
YouTube
air
comment
clearing.
of the week.
Yep, there's always an element of air clearing there.
Yes. Do we have time for underrated or
You know,
overrated?
I think we can fit it in the schedule this week.
Do we have time to quickly review the results of last week? If we do that?
Of course we do.
Have to do that. That was on the Instagram poll this week. The first one from last week was bars of soap. You said
Underrated.
The people also slightly said underrated, 55%.
Okay.
Quentin Tarantino, you said
Underrated.
it took you a while, and you said underrated.
Yep.
The vote kind of reflects that, 54% underrated.
Wow,
So
even
kind of about
closer.
what you said. Yuri Belkin.
I also said underrated.
Yeah, and 80% underrated.
Really?
Yeah, so very
That's
strong.
pretty resounding.
Yeah, and I think he gets a lot of credit, but people still.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yuri Belking is what I accidentally put, but then I was like, it kind of makes like you could take that as a.
It's like, oh yeah, that was definitely intentional.
It's like because he's the king.
Yep.
Last one from last week, Pop-Tarts. You said overrated.
I said overrated.
53% overrated, just barely above
Wow.
people. I'm surprised it wasn't
A little
more
more.
higher than that, but
Me too.
Somebody told me I made the comment about toasting them. Someone said they freeze them in
Really?
some
I
other
suppose
region
it'd be
of
like
the-
a frozen. Actually, Ryan used to throw Oreos in the freezer a lot, and they're actually pretty good in the freezer.
I've never.
So a little insider tip
Yeah.
there for you.
Yeah. Are you a dunker?
No, I'm not a dunker.
Oh.
I think dunking things in milk is disgusting.
I love dunking
I
things.
hate dunking
Actually,
things.
I don't just I don't like just dunking them in milk. I like getting them a full-on soggy soak in milk.
Oh, I don't.
And I like my cereal to be soggy in the
Oh,
milk.
see, I
I
don't
don't eat cereal, but if
I'm not really usually that picky about things, but I do not like One, food particles in my beverages. I hate that. That's so gross to me that there's food particles in my beverage. I do not like that part. And then I also almost never, ever, ever prefer, like if a food comes in a soggy or a more firm variation, I'm almost never going to pick the soggy variant there.
My wife gets disgusted at me of the various things that I will dip into a glass of milk.
And that's obviously why you have to do it, right?
That's part of being married is like repulsing your partner. Like making them second guess what they ever enjoyed about you in the first place.
This was a really bad decision.
I do really like that though, but I do know that I also am self-aware enough to know that it is weird and not normal.
Like you wouldn't be doing it like at a company outing.
No, right. Yes,
guys, look how wacky I am over here, just going nuts.
Yeah, I do this in the comfort of my recliner.
Yeah. You don't want to be the guy at the office that just is known for just dunking everything in milk and being so over the top with it.
Right. Now should we get to this week's underrated or overrated?
Yeah, let's do it.
Quick brief on the rules. Underrated or overrated consists of lightning round questions asked by myself to Tommy. The questions come from a variety of topics, including but not limited to pop culture, current events, food, and technology. There are also lifting-related topics just sprinkled in occasionally. It's important to remember that the questions are in fact lightning round, but the answers are not necessarily. Tommy has his druthers when it comes to the length of his answers. All that being said, there does have to be a final answer. This initial issue of overrated or underrated must be clearly resolved in the end. Those are the rules.
Wow.
That's the portion of the rules I chose to read today.
Yeah, thank you for that. It had been a little while.
Yeah, I may have glanced over some areas, but you got the highlights at least.
Yep.
That makes me think of maybe I've read this on the podcast before, but an advertisement when I worked at this is maybe a little regional, but Menards is a home improvement lumber yard.
It's the upper Midwest Lowe's or Home Depot.
Right. And I worked there for several years while I was going to college part-time. And for a while, they would go back and forth on this, that they would want the people working to read these advertisements over the loudspeaker,
Yeah, which is also weird because it is one of those stores. It doesn't seem like it's that common of a thing, but, most stores, they have some light music playing in the background. And then it will just cut, and you'll hear like this 10-second ad of some kind. And they still do it, don't they?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard them do it for a while, but I got really good at it. And there was this one ad that I had memorized, and I still have it memorized to this day. And every once in a while, I'll think about it and say it to myself. And I read it in a very particular way. And I can't remember.
I mean, that's the first lesson of salesmanship there is you got to deliver it with a little something.
And I wanted to take this opportunity as long as we have a podcast that I can talk into a microphone. So... Attention Menards guests, stop by our plumbing department and check out our Hunter air purifiers. They're whisper quiet and come with a filter change indicator light and a high performance ionizer. And as always, thank you for shopping at Menards.
The high performance ionizer is what really got me there. Yeah. That's what I didn't know if I wanted it until I heard that part.
And I would like to read that and then look around and see if anyone is
it's like, oh shit, I got to get on that. You read my mind.
So that was kind of like a running joke with people that work there, as I would read that.
Is how damn good you are at the
yes.
Why is the air purifier in the plumbing department?
Heating and cooling. It was in with furnace filters. I mean, also other things. I don't know why it's in the plumbing department, but like the heating and cool HVAC. That's the HVAC and plumbing would be the connection. They all counted them together. It is a stretch, I think, but it has to be somewhere, right? But by the way the departments are, I guess appliances would probably be the better choice to me. That would be out of the other departments that they have there is appliances.
Yeah. I guess HVAC, though, that makes sense. And if they're lumping in plumbing with HVAC, then I could get behind that, I guess.
Yeah. But I probably will be on my deathbed and still remember that thing.
Just burned into your brain.
Yes, it is. Okay. That was probably overrated, but now we get to the first real topic. We have talked about this on the podcast before, but it was pre-overrated, underrated segment.
Ooh, okay.
So it has not officially...
It's been a long time. Then I could have changed my opinion anyway.
Yes, and we'll see what you remember about this topic as it relates to the podcast. I believe you'll remember the very specific thing. So overrated or underrated pizza rolls?
It was actually funny because just this weekend we were talking about bagel bites quite a bit. Okay, this is one that's tough because I want it to be very situational where there's certain times where pizza rolls are very overrated and there's also certain times when pizza rolls are very underrated. And I don't feel like that applies to a lot of things on the over-under list. I mean, if I need to go into details, I would say they're overrated in just any regular walk of life.
Yeah.
Any situation in which you're alive, they're overrated.
Right.
But that situation when you're barely alive, coming home from the bars and it's 3, 4 a.m., I mean, they might as well be a magical elixir from the gods. You know, they're amazing. I still think I have to say pizza rolls are overrated, though. Yeah,
More of a bagel bites guy.
I'm more of a bagel bites guy. Hold it against me, but
So you're saying overrated on
I'm
the
going to
pizza
say
rolls.
pizza rolls are
What's your
overrated.
preferred method of cooking them? Baking them or tossing them in the microwave for the quick
That
fix?
also is the other thing too. Is
Those quick soggy
because
fix.
yes, they get
Back to
that
the
is one
soggy.
food that does get soggy in a hurry.
Yeah. Also filled with molten lava, much
And
like
yes,
the toasted Pop-Tarts.
also filled with molten lava, just like that, or a hot pocket. You know, the comedian,
Just waiting to scald your
the
tongue
comedian
for a
Jim
week.
Gaffigan has a very well-known piece on this. Like, you know, if he was at a restaurant and the waiter's serving it, he says, "We have the hot pocket," because he's like, that would never happen at a restaurant, you know. And he's like, "Oh wow, is that served hot?" He's like, "Oh yes, very much." Will it hurt my mouth? Oh, it will destroy your mouth. And like, oh, that sounds great. I'll have that. So yeah, if you guys haven't seen Jim Gaffigan, I mean, actually, have you ever heard that before, Tanner? His hot pocket
I think
bit?
you've told me about it before. I meant to look because it does make me laugh.
He's
so much.
he's a big time comedian. You know, he's one of the biggest names.
Yeah.
But it's such a well known bit that my brother, he saw him last year, and he said during his stand up, people are yelling,
"Do that.
Hot Pockets, Hot Pockets!" And he said it got done. He left and came out and did
An
people were just
encore
screaming,
of Hot
Pockets.
Yeah.
And he came out and did an encore of the Hot Pocket bit. And he said people were
awesome.
losing their shit, like
Yeah.
going crazy to hear this guy tell jokes that they know how it's going to end.
I bet I would in person.
Oh, but
I
it would still, it would
dying.
still be just, especially just how just amped up people are getting to hear
Yeah.
someone tell a story about Hot Pockets. Oh, it sounds. Will it hurt my mouth? It will destroy your mouth.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah, filled with molten lava. Yeah,
So you said
I
overrated.
still think they're overrated. Yeah.
Overrated or underrated? JD Power and Associates Awards.
All right, these are overrated, and there was, I don't know if this was real. I'm trying to remember. I did see a tweet of like, "Hey, JD Power and Associates, like, does anyone know what the hell you are or something?" And I don't remember if it was like Chevy does, and then it showed like they've received like over like. But yeah, like what is it? Like it's like,
Like, how do they have so many damn awards to give
and
out?
like and how are they such a prestigious thing? Like I don't hear anyone besides, really all I think of is, and maybe
Sometimes
this maybe
electronics too, don't they, or not? Or is
maybe
it
I don't
just
know. Just when
vehicles?
I hear, and
Yeah.
you could say maybe there's a good branding on Chevy's part, but when I hear JD Power and Associates, I think Chevy. I also
probably just an arm of
as far as I
General
know,
Motors
I mean,
Company.
yeah, it's literally just General Motors research department, and they're like, we're gonna award ourselves again this year because I never hear BMW or luxury brands talking about their JD Power and Associates awards. Also, I mean,
There's some really funny memes about the JD Power and Associates. Really funny that I can. It's like
well, it falls right into kind of that middle class clan.
Yeah, it does.
Middle class fancy, like.
and I don't know if I've ever seen them on Middle Class Fancy, but they should put them on there because they're so hilarious.
Well,
to me
and
that-
also, I always love the ones on the Chevy commercials of people are like, "Is that a BMW?" It's like, no, you dumbass, that's clearly a Chevy. Like
no.
Oh, we asked 10 people that know nothing about cars what they thought of this car. Is
See that giant bow tie
It's got,
symbol
I
on
don't
the
know,
front?
a Mercedes, a Lexus. It's a
like-
Chevy. Like, whoa,
No.
I'm getting me one of these. Like,
I think they should do that with my 2003 Buick LeSabre.
Be like, wow, what is this? Be like, no, idiots. It's a shitty old 2003 Buick LeSabre.
it comes with over 100,000 miles on it. You don't have to worry about breaking it in.
Is that a Plymouth?
Is that an Oldsmobile?
Did they collaborate with Lazy Boy when they made these seats? Like,
No,
how did
it's
this?
it's a Buick.
Yeah. No, it's one of our other brands that don't exist. Won so many JD Power and Associates awards, we retired him.
Yeah, at Chevy headquarters, their JD Power and Associates trophy room. It's
Oh,
like,
got to be extensive.
you could just, it's like Raiders of the Lost Ark.
It
when
just
they
goes
go in.
on and
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
Like,
that's what they pack it into those big wooden crates, and it's just
Yep.
that's
2020 Equinox did good for us.
well overrated on the JD Power and Associates
Yeah.
awards because nobody knows what the fuck it is.
Nope.
Okay, back to a topic that we've also talked about pretty extensively on the podcast, but pre-dating, overrated or underrated. Tom Brady. The GOAT.
I think it's okay. We talked about him trying to sell training programs,
Yes,
which
this
seems,
really isn't the context.
That seems
of,
insane.
yeah.
Like to think like this guy that's definitely not known
Right.
for his athleticism.
Right.
That I want to be on his fitness,
Yes.
routine. But
The TB12 method.
the TB12 method, yes. I still think when you're just that freaking good, like as much as I want to hate him, just because
Yeah.
it's like, why does someone have to be that good all the time? You almost just have to say underrated at that point. Like you can't.
And there is a lot of people that shit on him still. You
Oh
know, that,
yeah,
like,
and I'm still like I hope they don't win.
Right,
Like I
right,
want him
right.
to lose, but
Right.
just there's a point when you're that good, it's hard to say he's overrated when you have that many rings and championships to your
Yeah.
name. You know. So I'll say underrated.
Yeah, I bet the. What do you think the poll will be?
This
on
one will
that?
be like 50. Okay, if you're a football fan and you're not a Patriots fan,
You're
you're
going
probably
to
going to
say
say
overrated,
overrated.
but that's not really playing the game right. You know, that's
Yeah.
But that's what will happen.
But you could also say, I mean, if you want to look at it too, you could also say that he is probably the highest rated quarterback ever.
Right.
But
It's pretty
this one's-
deservedly.
it's a
so.
hard
Yeah.
argument to like.
Yeah.
Like with The Rock, you could say like, okay, he's like the biggest movie star of now, but like he's the biggest movie star of all time. Like
Right.
he is kind of up there in the Rock position though. Like
Yeah,
how do you
yeah.
rate? I'll
Yeah.
go. I'm still gonna go underrated on this one.
Underrated or overrated? Last one for this week. Orange juice, OJ with pulp.
Way overrated. That goes right back to I do not like chunks in my liquids when I'm
yeah.
drinking them. Do not like it. I don't
Yeah.
really drink orange juice that much anyways, but yeah, pulp in my orange juice. No, not doing it. Not having it.
The reason that one came about is because my wife and I were in the grocery store, and I usually don't drink orange juice, but I just walked by and I said, "Oh, I kind of want some orange juice. Like I want it right now, so we'll buy some." And I do like pulp. I like a little bit of pulp.
Like
moderate.
Is it
Well, so
did
that's
they say medium or
this.
what's the?
Well, this is the thing. So we looked, and I was looking, and I was like, "Where's the one that has some pulp in it?" Because I looked, and it was pulp free, and there's like 7 different brands, which I don't know why that is. First of all, and it's pulp free, or then was like super extra pulp or ultra pulp, and I'm looking and like moving ones to the side, and then my wife had gone ahead of me, and I called her back over, and I was like, "Do you see one here that's just like normal amounts of pulp?"
Like, I can just drink
Because
this?
these ones were like ultra pulp, and you could see it.
Just the sediment,
The top 1/3 of the bottle was just pulp.
Really?
And I was like,
Like
I
it
don't
flo-
want.
it floats to the
yeah,
top?
yeah,
Oh.
it did on some of them, and
Okay.
some it floated to the bottom. So I don't know what the difference is, but I was like, I don't want that. That'd be like chewing my orange juice.
Yeah.
But I do like a little pulp.
You need that agitator before you even.
Well, and we looked all around, and she agreed. There was like, oh, there does not seem to be a regular one, and I was just shocked.
a real middle of the road
Yeah,
option.
yeah.
Nothing too.
Yeah.
Did you ever have? And does it still? It probably still exists. I just never looked for it.
Sunny D?
I know. I remember my mom when I was a kid. It'd be like these tubes of frozen. Like I think it was like orange juice. Would
from
it be
concentrate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that? Do people still drink stuff from concentrate anymore?
I don't know.
Because I remember that, like, oh, yo, whip up some orange
Yeah.
juice, and being like, oh, mom, I just want
Yeah.
Sunny Delight. She's like, no,
Oh, mom got Sunny D.
just like the commercial.
Yeah.
But no, we'd always have the from concentrate stuff, and then
Yeah.
it's like, it was like in the freezer, and it kind of thawed out, but it kind of didn't. So you kind of had this watery drink that also didn't taste like much, and
Yeah, I don't know that people do that anymore.
yeah,
Because it's just kind of gross.
kids just had it rough back in the day, you
That
know.
is true. We had to drink our orange juice from concentrate.
You know, after staying up all night watching Girls Gone Wild commercials, and just need a glass of
And
orange
if-
juice.
And mom didn't have any Sunny D. We had to have the OJ from
Yeah, it's
concentrate.
like, God, things are not working out for me
Yeah.
right now.
Sunny D, I think most people agree. will make your tongue like have a sore on it. Like it has like a really like
there's just got to be just a crazy amount of sugar in it. That
yeah.
and like Tang. Tang was pretty
Yeah.
popular for a while too. And
Yeah.
I don't know if that's even really a thing anymore. That was always from powder, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I know that was the astronaut thing is where that came from.
What do you mean?
The astronauts had Tang powder in space.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that's.
I
Where
just remember the commercials with the monkeys.
Yeah. But like I think that's where Tang maybe started. Was,
Oh, really?
because they had powdered, powdered drinks in.
So they wouldn't have liquids just floating around.
Right.
Okay, I could see that art. So it's like space age, basically. you're saying.
Exactly.
Yeah, the most advanced orange drink available.
Yes.
Wow.
That is the end of Overrated, Underrated, and for that matter, I suppose it's the end of the podcast.
It is.
It's always bittersweet when it comes to this point,
Kind of
but
is. But it's getting late. Gotta go to bed.
it is late.
Gotta
You guys are probably
gotta enjoy a fine nighttime LaCroix and snooze off.
a nice sipping LaCroix. Some people complain that the podcast isn't long enough, and we've been going consistently well over an hour most of the time. But
We have. But, we're just at a natural break. I mean, we could talk about LaCroix for a while. I did notice. I think someone said we hadn't been talking about LaCroix enough lately. So
that is true. And I mean, they're not wrong. We haven't been talking about LaCroix enough.
we haven't.
We haven't been talking about LaCroix enough. The lift shorts.
We haven't been
Enough.
talking about that enough either. No. Wow. It's just
There's always next time.
Yeah. We'll get to that next time.
Yeah. The usual things we would ask for is subscribe on YouTube, like us on Facebook, go to our store, purchase anything on the store. We are having the Lift pint glass sale if you order over $75 and use the proper code, which I think is pint, if I'm remembering right.
I believe that is the code.
1 penny off your order plus a free pint glass. That's through the end of August.
And we don't offer the 1 penny off discount very often.
No.
So you do got to take advantage of that when that happens.
And then thinking of other sales based on when this will come out. So this will hit on the 26th. I guess I would just say watch for another sale Labor Day weekend. A little small thing that we might be putting a couple items on sale. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Mm-hmm. That's about it. I think that wraps us up. Last thing would be our Instagram handles.
You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
And you can follow the official Massenomics page at Massenomics. I'd be really freaking shocked if you weren't following us on Instagram, but I guess we'll say it just in case.
Just in case.
So that does wrap us up. We'll catch you next time.
See ya.